Update. Would I be the a-hole if I didn't report my coworker to HR? Original post. I, 29 female, am working in IT within a team of over 10 men and one woman coworker, Sandy. Sandy and I sit near each other in our office and we speak during the day, but never too much in detail or about personal stuff. I don't speak about my husband all day, but it is definitely no secret that I am married. Normally I take my lunch outside of the office, but today Sandy asked if I would like to have lunch with her at a local place. We had lunch and we spoke about the usual stuff like work, vacations, and so on. When we came back to the office, I told her I was going to the bathroom to freshen up. I am wearing braces, so after each meal I have to take care of that, and she said she was coming too. I don't know how things degenerated from her, speaking about getting a haircut and me swishing water, but as soon as I finished, she took my face and kissed me on the lips. This took me greatly by surprise, and I took a step back and asked her what she was doing. She was immediately apologetic and said she must have understood things wrong. I told her I am married. She kept saying sorry and left the bathroom. We did not have an argument, but the rest of the day was really awkward. I had no idea she liked women. Also, I have no idea how she got the impression that I like women. Anyway, after I got home, I told my husband because I wanted to know if I give off the vibe that I like women. He told me I need to report this to HR. He did not get angry or anything, but he said this is unacceptable to happen at work. To be honest, I believe her that it was a misunderstanding, and I trust that she understood my message clearly. My husband thinks that this should be reported regardless. I don't want to cause issues. Would I be the a-hole if I did not report Sandy to HR? Now for the top comments before reading the update. In my experience, it's best to get things documented correctly and immediately. There are so many ways things can come back to you if not documented. What if she decides to get ahead of it and say it was you that was forward? What if someone else came forward and somehow knew that she had done this to you too? It's just best to have that conversation to cover your behind. OP is worried about giving off the wrong vibes. When it's consent, she should be reporting. Coworker made a physical pass at her without her consent. And yes, coworker was already going for the I misunderstood excuse. You would not be the a-hole, since it is your choice. Her conduct was extremely inappropriate and unprofessional though. I have to wonder if there have been other misunderstandings. This is the thing. I never paid specific attention to her behavior in the past. Usually at work we all speak of pets, have the occasional verbal tantrum over work stuff, and discuss the music we have on the radio. Spouses are rarely mentioned unless one of the guys asks about gift or vacation ideas. My husband's opinion is that this was her attempt at a date. Not the a-hole. If I were you, I would not report right away. Maybe it was a misunderstanding and she got the message. Sometimes you need to give people the benefit of the doubt. If she alludes to certain things, flirts, or God forbid tries something physical again, I would immediately report. But you are married and sometimes compromises are important. Have another conversation with him and see if you can come to a conclusion. She kept working and did not say a word afterwards. She truly seemed embarrassed to me. However, my husband's argument was that if it was a man who made this kind of move, he would not get the benefit of the doubt. Now for the update a month later. So I reported my colleague to HR. After my husband kept telling me if it was the other way around I would report it, I did it. I told HR that I don't want any investigation or to hurt her in any way. I just want it to be on record that it happened. HR assured me no further action would be taken unless I wanted it, and it would be kept anonymous. I felt so bad for doing it. I thought I made a big mistake by reporting a misunderstanding. My colleague missed work the next couple of days, and when she came back, she was visibly changed, very annoyed. Since we still sit next to each other in the office, I behave normally and we don't speak about that day. Today she scoffed when a colleague from a different department passed by. I looked at her out of the corner of my eye, but she saw it, and she leaned over to me and probably felt like it was a good time to dish some tea. She told me she had been called to HR and given a lecture about workplace harassment and has a couple of in-person courses on this. I honestly froze at that moment. Sandy then proceeded to tell me that the coworker who had just passed by must have reported her because they were flirting and she made some jokes that might not have landed well with that colleague. I was there looking at her like an idiot, not knowing what to say, while she went on a rant about how this place is so against LGBTQ people, and you can't make a joke or flirt without someone taking offense. She told me she is just trying to find people to have fun with and encourage them to explore their options. She even gave me as an example. I tried to help you as well, but for sure you weren't ready for it. I did not say a word and just looked at her for a second before going back to my work. I felt like an idiot. I really thought she made a mistake by kissing me and defended her so much to my husband, saying that it was a simple misunderstanding and she felt so embarrassed. Now I know I was one of the people she tries to help explore. I don't know what to do with this information. I still believe misunderstandings can happen, but I don't feel that bad for reporting her anymore. My husband was right. You guys were right. At first, it might have felt like a gray area, but now it's clear she has a history and intention that goes beyond a harmless mistake. Reporting her was the right move to protect yourself and your work environment. If it was a man, you for sure would tell them he should be jailed for assault limau. You would be the a-hole if you don't go back to HR and update them. You need to let them know that she admitted to you that what she did was not an accident or an innocent misunderstanding. They need to know that she is deliberately sexually harassing or assaulting fellow employees in an attempt to force them to change their sexual identity. I fully agree with you, and I am going to HR tomorrow to update them. I feel like an idiot for believing her when she was apologetic and embarrassed. Nope, she's the a-hole. She's weaponizing an identity group and using it as a free card to behave however she wants. Remember that Family Guy piece where the bartender asks the trans woman to stop watching porn at the bar, and the TW replies, "I'm trans," to which the bartender says, "Oh, well in that case, do whatever you want." That was commentary on people like your coworker. She is cancerous, and I'm sorry you have to deal with her. She sounds like someone who is going to cry phobia or ism anytime someone speaks up against her bad behavior. You did the right thing by reporting her. Next story. Am I the a-hole for sending my brother-in-law a message telling him never to contact me again? Hi guys, this is a long one, so buckle up. I, female 32, have been with my now husband, 33, for 7 years. About 4 years ago, his mother got remarried. For context, she's volatile, has been abusive in the past, and doesn't have a healthy relationship with alcohol. At her wedding, my husband's eldest brother, male 46, got extremely drunk. He doesn't usually drink, and I'd always had a fairly positive relationship with him until then. That night, things got really uncomfortable. He was being overly touchy with me and another guest. Later on, he was having a drunken emotional moment and unloaded a lot of family trauma on me. I didn't mind listening, but then he grabbed my hand, pulled me onto his knee, hugged me, and then suddenly kissed me full on the mouth with his tongue. I jumped up, shocked, and tried to brush it off. His new stepdad walked in, and I used that as a distraction. But my brother-in-law grabbed my hand, dragged me down a corridor, pushed me against a wall, not hard but intimidating, and told me, "You can't tell my brother." I was terrified. I managed to run away to my room where my husband was. I told him immediately. He wanted to confront him, but I begged him not to ruin his mom's wedding and said to wait until the morning. The next day, his sisters told him to apologize. He blamed it on the drink, said, "This is why I don't drink," and left. He has never taken accountability. Over the years, my husband has tried to encourage him to acknowledge what happened, but brother-in-law just laughs it off. Fast forward 4 years, we moved overseas, and I thought I could just avoid him. But we recently moved back home, and out of nowhere, he texted me on my birthday. I don't know how he got my new number, but it wasn't through my husband. I've been silent for 4 years, but this time I had enough. I didn't want him ruining my birthday, and I decided to speak up for myself instead of expecting my husband to deal with it. I texted him saying I wasn't aware he had my new number. I need to be absolutely clear. I do not want you to contact me. My husband has told you before, more than once, that I don't want contact, but that hasn't been respected. Let me make it plain. There will be no contact now or ever. Please don't assume that just because we've moved back home, this changes anything. It doesn't. I screenshotted my text and sent it to my husband. Now his mother is furious with me. She says she doesn't believe what I have accused him of, that her son would never do that, and that the text I sent was disgusting. despite his own sister calling him a predator and him having a history of stories of behaving like a tit drunk. I know this will likely mean my husband eventually cuts ties with his family, and I expected backlash. But after 4 years of silence, I felt I couldn't keep letting it slide. So, am I the a-hole for finally sending that message? Tell your mother-in-law to ask her husband what he walked in on at their wedding. That ought to shut her up. And block brother-in-law on your phone and all social media. She won't care and will likely blame you, not her son who would never do that. Just tell mother-in-law that you know what happened and won't pretend for anyone, including her. Then block them all, except maybe sister-in-law. She seems to know what's up. Sister-in-law took back the comment, said, "I wouldn't have said that if I'd known you were sitting on his knee. That's a boundary I have in my marriage, to not sit on other blokes' knees." You need to consider getting a restraining order against your brother-in-law. He has repeatedly shown that he doesn't respect your boundaries. Please take steps to protect yourself. Install security cameras, change the locks, and make sure your husband does not share your address or whereabouts with any family members. Block him everywhere for your safety. Forcing you to kiss him, threatening you, shaming you, and gaslighting you are violations. This is not just inappropriate, it's abusive. He has already been aggressive toward you, and it's very likely he will try again. Protect yourself now before it escalates further. A restraining order wouldn't hold up where I am from. I am with you on the camera front. We are moving and not sharing our new address with family. I do not feel safe. The whole family have been abusive to me. Thank you so much for taking me seriously and allowing me to see all of this. It's hard to see when you're being forced into a narrative where you are the problem. Mini update. They cut us off and said I am behaving like he violated me and the punishment doesn't fit the crime of me wanting to not speak to him. They don't believe me. Thanks to everyone for being kind to me. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to cover my co-worker's shift after she left me hanging last week? I work at a small coffee shop with a staff of about 10 people. We are usually flexible with each other about swapping shifts because life happens and things come up. Most of the time it works out smoothly, and I have never had any major issues with anyone on the team. Last week I had a family emergency and I asked my co-worker Mary if she could cover for me. She said yes, and I thought everything was settled. I even texted her the morning of to remind her, and she responded with, "No problem." When my shift came around, she never showed up. She later claimed she forgot, but the end result was that the cafe was short-staffed. Customers were waiting too long, and my manager had to step in to cover. I ended up getting spoken to about being more responsible, even though I thought I had done the right thing by arranging coverage. This week, Mary texted me asking if I could cover one of her evening shifts. She said she had plans she could not cancel, and she really needed someone to step in. I told her no. I reminded her that she had bailed on me the week before and left me to deal with the fallout. She immediately got defensive and accused me of being petty and not a team player. Another coworker overheard and told me I should have just covered the shift anyway, because when one of us refuses to help, it makes things harder for the entire team. That made me stop and think, because I really do not want to make life harder for my other coworkers or the manager. At the same time, I feel like if I just cover for her, it sends the message that she can take advantage of me and there will be no consequences. I am torn between feeling like I stood up for myself and worrying that maybe I am punishing the wrong people, since my refusal might put more stress on the rest of the staff. Am I the a-hole for refusing to cover her shift after she did not show up for mine? Not the a-hole. When you got coverage, did you also notify your manager? If so, they messed up going after you. As for coverage, honestly, that is also a manager's job, though the new wave of them pushing it to the employees is odd. In my state, they don't give out your numbers to other employees by law. As for you denying the shift, anyone else can take it if they want it. No is a complete sentence, and circumstances pushed you into a harder no. Exactly this, OP. The manager dropped the ball here. You did your part when you found coverage, and it's not on you to babysit another adult who can't follow through. Saying no after how she treated your shift was more than fair. Not the a-hole. There's a difference between saying no and saying yes but not showing up. And then she let you take the blame because she didn't bother showing up for the shift. There's also a difference between you having an emergency and her making plans when she has a shift. If she actually had plans, why didn't she let management know before the current roster? You're not covering for her because she's shown that she can't be trusted. And since when has the pendulum swung so far that people make plans on work days? Go to work and make plans for your days off. Work should always come before plans, as that's what's paying for your plans. Last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my friend a ride because she always makes me late? So I, 28 female, carpool sometimes with my friend Lisa, 29 female. We work at the same company but in different departments. Originally, it was just a favor here and there, but lately she started acting like it's my duty to drive her every morning. The problem is that she's never ready on time. I'll text her that I'm outside and then sit there for 15 to 20 minutes while she finishes getting ready. I've tried leaving later. I've tried telling her I need to go early. It doesn't matter. She always keeps me waiting. On top of that, she's never once pitched in for gas. I don't expect a ton, but I feel like if someone's driving you every day, tossing them a couple of bucks here and there is just common courtesy. Instead, she'll complain about how expensive gas is for her, while I'm the one filling up my tank every week. Last week, I had a really important meeting with my boss. I told Lisa the night before that I couldn't be late. Sure enough, I get there, and she says she'll be out in 2 minutes, and 15 minutes later, she comes running out. By the time I parked at work, I had to sprint across the building and walked into the meeting sweaty and out of breath. I wasn't late, but it wasn't a good look. So yesterday, when she texted me asking if I'm still giving her a ride tomorrow, I said that I can't keep waiting around every morning and that she'll need to figure out her own ride. She blew up at me, saying I was being dramatic and selfish, that it was only a few minutes, and I should be more understanding since gas is too expensive for her right now. I understand she's going through a rough patch, but honestly, I feel like my time and gas money are worth something too. I don't think it's fair that she treats me like her personal Uber driver. So am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole, but honestly, why didn't you leave on time regardless of whether she's come out or not? I know that feels like a big step that would leave her hustling, but that's the natural consequence she needs. You've taught her it doesn't matter whether she's on time or not. You've quietly accepted her BS and have now drawn a perfectly reasonable line. But you need to take a bit of ownership about how severe this got, because you never chose to just leave on time. And it sounds like tardy coworker has a car. She's got away there. Everyone sucks here. They suck because of the reasons mentioned. You suck as you allowed all of this to happen. You say, I absolutely must be on time, and then you wait. There are no repercussions if she's late. You simply wait. I would message from 5 minutes away saying, be there in 5. Wait 1 minute and then I'm gone. Even if they message, be there in 2. You reply, fine. If you're out the door in 2 minutes, I'm gone. After 2 minutes, send message, sorry, couldn't wait any longer. You also let it become every day without gas money. You could ask. You can say no. Heck, you had an important meeting. I would have said, I have a big meeting tomorrow and I'm heading in early. You'll need to find your own way to work. That's it. Find your spine. Yeah, this is 100% on OP for letting this happen at all. She said out in 2 minutes. You freaking leave after 2 minutes. First time you even did this and she didn't show up on time? You should have been on your way to work.